Well, hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're starting a brand new series. That's right, this is the What's on the Workbench series, or WOTWB, or WOTB. I haven't quite figured out what I want to do for that yet. I'm trying to find out what's catchy. This is something brand new. But as the name sounds, this whole series is dedicated to projects that I'm working on, whether it's maintenance on trains, or modifications to some rail cars, or just fixing some small things that I can do myself. I'm not going to be doing a lot of demonstrations on every single problem, and if you have a question about a thing, I might not be able to do it because I might not have something to do it on. But this will just be another series to do small little videos to show you what I'm working on right now. In today's video, you might be able to see behind me, I have a lot of Lionel 21-inch passenger cars. And if you're familiar with the 21-inch passenger cars, the couplers on them are a little bit iffy. Some of them really suck. They will not stay closed. And I have to show my layout to the Lionel Operators Train Society in about a week. So I don't have much time, and I really don't want these cars uncoupling during the open house. So I'm going to be fixing the couplers with a neat fix that has been done a few times on YouTube, but I'm going to be doing it as well too. Let's get into it. Okay, so we are currently underside one of the Lionel 21-inch passenger cars, and we're going to be fixing these couplers. Now, these couplers are pretty alright in their design, but a lot of them have a problem where they're very easy to open. This one you can't quite pull open, some of them you can, but this one is okay-ish, but I have had this one already come uncoupled on me on one of my inclines. So we're going to fix it. Now, right here, the way this coupler works is this little plastic piece is pulled up like this, which removes this bar that goes into the coupler, which holds that together. Once this is out like this, the coupler opens. This is held down by a spring here in the back, and the spring is a very loose spring. And that is basically the sole problem of all of these issues, is that this spring is just so loose, it does not keep the coupler closed well enough. This can jiggle loose, and it just comes out like that. Now, some people will take the spring and they'll pull it out a little bit to make it beefier. Some people will get a beefier spring like this one just to put in there. But I definitely don't want them coming uncoupled, so I am using some of this tubing right here. I'm going to cut off a certain amount and put it in there. So you may be thinking, well, that tubing will then cause the coupler not to open, because if it's pressing down on this won't open. Well, not quite. This tubing is actually very flexible. I don't know how well you can see on video, but I can still push it down a decent bit. So it is still able to move around, it's just a lot more solid than a spring. I've done this on some of my coal cars, I've done this on a few passenger cars, and I'm doing it again because it does work. It just keeps the coupler pretty much closed. You can still open it by the tab, but it's a lot more difficult than just with this. Now, especially for the passenger cars, I don't think I'm ever going to need to use the tabs to open them, so I'm definitely okay with doing this because it's going to be very rare when I need the tabs. And like I said, I can still do it, but because it's going to be very rare when I need them, I'm okay with doing it. On some freight cars that I'm going to be using the tabs often, like freight cars and hopper cars and stuff like that, that'll be used in switching and on uncoupling tracks, I probably won't do that, but they also typically don't have these kinds of coupler issues, and typically they won't be pulled in very long, few pound trains. Anyways, let's get into the fix. On here, there is a little locking pin on the very top, and you can take some tweezers, a little hole, you just got to get it in right there. You can also use a flathead screwdriver. I have one of those as well. Sometimes some of them work better than others. Take that and wedge that in the hole, and then this is the tricky part because this is still a spring, and once you pull this out, things will go flying. The spring will go flying, the locking pin will go flying, and so will the nut on top. So you just need to be careful when pulling this out. And we have just about got it. Yep, there we go. So there's our washer. I'm going to set that to the side. There is our locking pin. We definitely want to make sure we keep this. And there is our spring, and we don't need that anymore. And now, as you can see, if I just close this coupler and I just barely pull this open, you can see this is completely how this works. And now I'm just going to take this, I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, I'm going to make a cut, and here's our piece of tubing. I'm going to put that on there. This size tubing exactly fits right over all these couplers, which is great. There is size. So I'm going to take my locking pin and we're going to put it back and we're going to see if this is going to work. Okay, and so now we've done it. We've got the tweezers and it's pushed that locking pin back in. And as you can see, I can still open it, but it takes a lot more force to open and close the coupler. And this means that now when I pull on it, especially with my finger or any other cars, no matter how heavy the train is, no matter how the length of the incline, it will not come apart. And just for reference, I'll show you one more time. This is this opening with this. And this is a factory one opening. Look at this. You can even see how this one just popped out of place right there, right in front of me. You can see this one has a lot more travel up and down in the spring. I can pull it a lot more further up. If we go back to the very first one that I've now fixed, you can now see I can no longer pull it further than that. I'm pulling with maximum strength that I feel comfortable with, and I can't pull it further than that. So as you can see, this will now be a lot more reliable and is now roadworthy. Okay, well I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope it was instructional. The tubing I used, I'm pretty sure is called neoprene tubing. I will have a link in the description below to the eBay where I bought that from. There are very many different sizes and shapes. You have to make sure you get tubing that fits around the pin where the spring would go originally to make sure it fits pretty snugly. If you get it too tight, it won't go around there, and if you get it too loose, it'll just jostle around. Like I said, I'll include that in the description below if I can find it, and you guys can go get it for yourselves if you want to do something similar to this. Another way this can also work is you can just have a screw on the top, which is actually a lot easier when you just have to unscrew the top piece, remove the spring, and then put it back on there, and then screw the top back on. That method is a lot easier, and these coal cars all have that method where it's just a screw right here on the bottom where the spring is. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are interested in this new series that I'm creating. Let's see how it does here on this channel. But anyways, until next time, I'm Sam, and I'll see you guys later.